In this video, we are going to talk about how the United States is preventing China from being the next biggest semiconductor and chipset manufacturer in the world. So buckle up as we deep dive into the world of economics and strategy. And before we start, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the video. In October, the United States of America introduced expansive chip export controls to slow China's progress in artificial intelligence and supercomputers, making it tougher for the country to manufacture advanced semiconductors, which are said to be the most brutal measures the U.S. President Joe Biden has taken against China in his attempt to slow China's military modernization by targeting the technologies behind everything from nuclear weapons modeling to hypersonic weapons development. The sanction would predominantly affect two key areas in China that are number 1, the Chinese military, and number 2, cloud computing and AI. Hideki Wakabayashi, a professor at the Tokyo University of Science, refers to this as a state close to war. How will they impact China's semiconductor industry? Restrictions would hit China's top chipmaker Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, or SMIC, to make logic chips that power computers, as they bar U.S. companies from supplying technology for chips that are more advanced than 14 nanometers, impacting areas like maintenance and equipment replacement. Memory chipmakers such as Yangtze Memory Technologies Corp. and Changxian Memory Technologies will also be impacted, as the U.S. has put restrictions on the export of technology to manufacture NAND memory chips with 128 layers or more, which is the company's most advanced chips. Does it have an impact on the U.S. companies? Analysts say that even the sanctions on China impact aggressively the U.S. as well, as many U.S. firms that produce chips or chip-making tools list China as their biggest market, with China accounting for 33% of sales at Applied Materials, 27% at Intel, and 31% at Lam Research. Applied Materials has estimated that the restrictions would cut about $400 million, or 6%, from next quarter's sales. NVIDIA, which will be unable to export its advanced GPUs used in machine learning systems to China, also put the quarterly impact on revenues at $400 million, or 7% of its sales. Lam Research has also found that the export controls would slice as much as $2.5 billion, or up to 15%, from 2023 sales. On the other hand, some U.S. companies could benefit, such as memory chipmaker Micron, which faces rising competition from Yangtze Memory Technologies Corp. So the main question is, can China retaliate? China, being on the receiving side of the sophisticated technology for chip manufacturing, doesn't have many levers to respond. Some experts even speculate that China could cut off tech giants, including Microsoft and Apple, from its massive consumer market. So the question is, would there be spillover to other industries? On October 7, the U.S. also added other 31 Chinese companies, including Yangtze Memory Technologies Corp., to the unverified list of entities for which Washington has not been able to conduct end-user checks to verify that American technology is being used for legitimate purposes. The European officials believe the United States would probably widen its range of hard-hitting measures, which would create knock-on effects for EU business, with some analysts warning that the majority of Chinese manufacturers could run out of inventory, sparking a chip shortage that would affect other industries including aerospace, consumer electronics, medical devices, and cloud computing. So, can the sanction have an impact on a global scale? Yes, the current sanction has global repercussions, as the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, which is the world's largest contract chip maker and accounts for 60% of global supply, has said that the immediate impact was limited and manageable, but it was too early to assess the long-term impact, said their chief executive. In South Korea, chipmakers have won a one-year exemption to the controls, but they would have to apply for U.S. export licenses after the grace period, which the experts believe would struggle to get approval for their factories in China based on previous American opposition. Since the export restrictions against Huawei in 2019, Japanese companies such as Sony have reduced their ties with Chinese chipmakers. Europe's ASML, the Netherlands-based global leader in chip-making equipment, has projected a limited impact on its shipment plans next year, as its business predominantly serves more mature chip production technologies in China rather than the advanced chip production targeted by Washington's export control rules. The year seems to be a losing ground for China, as China's economic target of 5.5% GDP growth now seems unachievable. China's Communist Party Congress announcing a GDP growth of 3.9% came with little fanfare, which was better than the forecast of 3.3% from analysts. In the meantime, China's rival neighbor, India, has started to woo investors for setting up the semiconductor industry in the country. But manufacturing isn't something India has been looked upon. A large amount of capital required and the time it takes to set up factories and uncertainty over the business, tax, and trade environment have often put companies off setting up in India. Some advantages it puts forward in this respect are the strength of its huge domestic consumption market when it comes to semiconductors, being the second largest populous economy in the world. A surplus of English-speaking engineering talent and a cheaper labor force make it cost-effective. Having said, some experts say that India's path cannot be the same as that of China. Times have changed and so does the demand. Now companies want more machine-heavy producers, and with the advent of AI and sophisticated and accurate production techniques, the lure of low-cost labor isn't the one companies might look for. Let us know in the comment what you think about this.